guys, I don't know if you can tell, but I have my house coat on. I was all ready for bed. Well, I mean, I wasn't going to go to sleep, but I was up in my room relaxing, watching videos, whatever, editing. And stairs are a big deal for me right now. I know most of you don't know, but I actually fractured my tibial plateau in October and was off till February with that. And since then, my leg has not been stable. It's healed well enough, but man, stairs are really hard. And my leg is like, it just kind of gives out sometimes or twinges like really bad. And stairs are not my favorite thing. So when I was up there all comfy and cozy, and then remembered, number one, that I needed to do a video on the whole leaven process in my sourdough step-by-step videos. And two, I have to have a whole bunch of bread ready by next weekend, not this coming weekend, but only like a week away. And because of the process, it's not something I can mix up, you know, and have it. I did a loaf today of peasant bread, and I mean, it was start to finish 4 or 5 hours. That's not how it works with sourdough, and especially because I like it in the fridge overnight to have that stronger sourdough flavor. So long story short, I thought, no, you need to keep this rhythm going. And if I do this leaven tonight, then it will sit out all night and be ready for me to mix up the bread tomorrow morning and go through the proofing process and then put it in the fridge overnight. So I thought, Connie, just do it. Just do it. Like Nike, right? Just do it. So that's what I'm doing. And so I decided, instead of just doing one bowl of leaven and enough for one loaf of bread, I'm going to do two, just to come at this procrastinative spirit, which it's just the flip side coin of perfectionism. I'm going to take it one step farther and do 2 leavens and make 2 loaves of bread, just to prove I can, and that I'm not being controlled by something I really don't want to be controlled by. I think it's the Irish in me. Spills over into a lot of areas, and it forms a lot of my core values, to be honest. Perseverance and not letting something have the upper hand when I know, not just to be stubborn, when I know in my heart what the right thing to do is. You know, there's a lot of areas where we have a lot of opportunity to just say, I don't feel like it. I don't want to. It's too hard. I can't. And it doesn't take long for me, I don't know about you, but for me to fall into a rut of that becoming the habit. So here I am in my house coat. It's real deal. I told you, you know, I'm not professional. It's not polished. I'm in my house coat and my pajamas, so I don't know how many YouTubers do that, but tonight I'm doing it. So I'm going to get started. Okay, so we're going to start with our 30 grams. Put my scale back to 0 with 30 grams of starter. Be nice if just once I could hit it right on the money. 27. 29. I'm sure this is going to be too much now, because I don't know how you get 1 gram. 31, 32. I'm going to put it in half. It's like, why do I let this much bother me? I don't know, but I do. 30. Okay. So I still have enough left for a couple more loaves before I have to refresh my starter again. You can see where it is. So this is the 3rd one I've taken out of here. So actually it's good to keep count because I actually haven't until now. All right, so we're back here. I'm going to put into this 130 grams of water and 120 grams of flour. 130 grams. So this is your leaven or Levain or Levain. I don't even know. It's Levain. Okay, so I'm gonna mix that in. Start with a fork just because it's thick and it takes a bit to get it kind of started. And it doesn't have to be fully dissolved. It just has to be broken up and distributed somewhat because it's gonna break down as it sits anyway. And I'll be stirring it again when I put the flour in. So, you know, I kind of wondered how this starter would work because you're not feeding it all the time. That by doing this Levain or leaven, however you want to say it, you're actually feeding your starter. You're reactivating it and giving it fresh, by giving it fresh flour and water. And then it's going to sit and become active and bubbly. And then I will be using that to make the bread tomorrow. Okay, that'll be good for now. I keep my flour in a garbage bin bucket lined with plastic bag because I go through so much of it. I've got 130, I want to get to 250, so that's my 120. And remember, I always pile my flour so that there's enough dry. If I happen to put too much, I can take, there we go. Perfect. This is it. This is your leaven. You're going to stir it up. It's going to look like a pancake batter, and I'm going to cover it and leave it sit out overnight. It only recommends 6 to 10 hours, but she said you could do it up to 24. So I just like the rhythm and routine of doing this, having it out overnight, and then it's ready in the morning. So I'm going to give it a good mix just to make sure that that starter's getting well dissolved in there. And this is the consistency. Kind of like the starter would have been if I had continued. That's what your liquid starter sort of ends up like. So you're just eliminating so much feeding and fussing and everything else by doing it this way with the dry starter in the fridge. And the results have been so much more consistent. The dough is so much easier to work with. And it's been a win-win all the way around. Just scrape it down, get it all off the sides of the bowl. And we're ready. That's all it took. Like really, honestly, it took maybe 5-10 minutes. And it was done. It was worth coming downstairs for. So that's how you make your leaven. That's how you start your sourdough. We talked in the last video about refreshing your starter. And if you don't have starter at all, I will link the video that Shay Elliott did on the Elliott Homestead that talks about how to start right from scratch. So flour, water, it takes a few days. You can't eliminate that process, but it'll get you started. And then the video yesterday was how to refresh that starter. When I get down to the end and I have my last piece in here, I don't want to use that last piece because then I've got nothing. I'd have to start from scratch again. I showed you how to refresh it. It takes a day to get it ready so that you then have 4 or 5 more loaves that you can make before you have to refresh it again. And it's so simple, so easy, and it's worked every time. Anyway, have a good night, guys. I will see you tomorrow morning.